Have you ever dropped a rock into a swimming pool? It sinks straight to the bottom. But now imagine something way bigger than a rock, like a submarine, as long as a football field and heavier than 1,000 cars. And it doesn't sink to the bottom. Or it does, but only when it wants to. It can float, sink, stop in the middle of the ocean like it's hanging in space, and even pop back up like a giant metal whale. How does it do that? Welcome to Explain Like I'm 5, where we take mind-bending topics and break them down into fun, easy-to-understand stories. Ready to get curious? Let's dive in. Imagine you're in a giant bathtub with your toy submarine. If it's hollow and light, it floats. If it's full of water, it sinks. That's the basic idea behind how real submarines work too. But instead of someone squeezing them or pouring water in, submarines control their floating and sinking with something called ballast tanks. Now, that might sound fancy, but let's picture it like this. A submarine has special rooms, kind of like big empty bottles, that can either be filled with water or air. When the submarine wants to float on the surface, it pushes the water out and fills those tanks with air, just like a balloon. Air is super light compared to water, so it helps the sub stay up. But when it wants to dive down and disappear under the waves, it opens little valves and lets water rush in. The water is heavy, so it pulls the submarine down. It's kind of like putting marbles inside your toy boat until it sinks. Once the submarine gets to the depth it wants, it stops filling the tanks. That way, it doesn't sink more or float up. It just kind of hovers underwater, like a big metal fish. This whole process is called buoyancy control. And buoyancy, that's just a fancy word for floatiness. It's the same thing that lets rubber ducks float in a tub and makes it hard to sink a beach ball. Submarines are masters at playing with buoyancy to go up, down, or stay put. But that's just the start of the magic. Once underwater, a submarine can't exactly look out a window to steer like a car. There's no light, no street signs, no GPS bars like on your phone. So how do they know where they're going? They use something called sonar, which is kind of like echolocation, the way bats find their way in the dark. The sub sends out sound waves, and when those waves bounce off something, like another submarine or a whale, it hears the echo. That echo tells it how far away things are. It's like shouting in a cave and hearing your voice bounce back. The faster the echo comes back, the closer the object is. It's like the submarine has ears instead of eyes. And steering? That's done with fins. Yep, just like a fish. Submarines have little wings on the sides and back called diving planes and rudders. By tilting these fins, the sub can angle up, down, or turn sideways. And a big spinning propeller on the back pushes it through the water, just like on a toy boat. But here's the thing, underwater it's not always peaceful and pretty. Submarines have to deal with a lot of pressure. The deeper you go in the ocean, the heavier the water gets. Imagine a mountain made of water sitting on top of your head. That's what deep sea pressure feels like. So submarines have to be super strong. They're made of thick metal, usually steel or titanium, with rounded shapes that help them resist being squished. Flat surfaces can cave in, but round ones are much stronger. That's why subs look like long metal sausages instead of rectangles. Inside the sub, it's like a tiny underwater city. There's a kitchen, beds, bathrooms, even games and movies to keep people entertained. But everything's squished together. Space is tight, and there are no windows, so it can feel a bit like living inside a soda can. The crew has to work together in shifts. Some sleep while others drive, cook, or keep an eye on sonar. And here's something wild. Submarines don't just stay underwater for hours, some stay down for months. How? Well, they bring lots of food and use machines to make clean air and fresh water. Some even have nuclear reactors, like tiny power plants, that give them energy without needing to refuel. That means they can stay hidden deep underwater for a long, long time without anyone knowing where they are. Now, why even have submarines in the first place? What's the point of a giant metal tube swimming under the sea? Well, submarines are used for a lot of things. Some are used by the military to patrol oceans, carry supplies, or even launch missiles. Others are used for science, like exploring shipwrecks, studying sea creatures, or mapping the ocean floor. And some are built just for research, going deeper than any diver ever could. There are even tiny subs that can only fit one person, used to explore places no one's ever been. Submarines have helped scientists discover things like underwater volcanoes, deep-sea fish that glow in the dark, and strange places where the ocean is boiling hot. Without submarines, we'd know way less about our own planet, especially since most of Earth is covered by water. But submarines aren't perfect. One big challenge is communication. Radio signals don't travel well through water, especially deep water. So sometimes subs are cut off from the world. To send messages, they have to come up close to the surface or use very low-frequency signals, which are slow and hard to send. Imagine trying to whisper to someone across a swimming pool. That's what it's like trying to talk to a submarine. Another tricky part is safety. If something breaks underwater, like the engine or one of the air systems, it can be super dangerous. That's why submarines have backup systems, extra batteries, and lots of training drills. The crew learns what to do if there's a fire, a leak, or even if they get stuck. And let's not forget about finding submarines. Because they're made to be sneaky, other ships have to work hard to spot them. That's why underwater hide and seek is a big deal in the Navy, both for safety and strategy. Submarines have special coatings and shapes that help them blend into the deep ocean, making it hard for sonar to find them. It's like they're playing hide and seek. And they're really good at it. So, what's next for submarines? Are we done building them? Not even close. Engineers are working on new types of submarines that use quieter engines, better sonar, and even artificial intelligence to help navigate. There are ideas for eco-friendly submarines that run on electricity from the sun or sea, and robots that can dive deeper than ever before, all without needing a human inside. Some companies are even building luxury submarines for fun. Imagine a submarine with big windows, soft seats, and music playing while you glide under the sea like a fish in a 5-star hotel. That's already happening. In the future, we might see underwater drones exploring ocean planets like Europa, or mini-subs delivering packages under the sea. And as we learn more about how submarines float, sink, and steer, we might even borrow those ideas for other cool inventions, like flying cars or space vehicles. So the next time you're at the beach, or even playing in the bathtub, and you see something float or sink, remember, it's not magic, it's buoyancy. And submarines? They're like the best swimmers in the ocean, controlling their floatiness with science, smarts, and a little bit of submarine style. And just like that rock that sinks and the rubber duck that floats, now you know the secret behind how submarines dive deep without ever losing their way. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. See you next time on Explain Like I'm 5.